Screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's continue. Okay. So basically, cement is a mixture of calcareous, siliceous, argillaceous, and other substances. It is used as a binding material in mortar or concrete. Now, calcareous material is derived from limestone or chalk. Argillaceous material is clay and shale, and siliceous material is silica. It is a fine powder which sets after a few hours when mixed with water and then hardens in few days into a solid strong material. It is mainly used to bind fine sand and coarse aggregates together in concrete. So basically cement is used in concrete. Cement is a hydraulic binder, that is, it hardens when water is added. Cement is, so remember cement is MCQ question maybe you may get. So cement is a hydraulic binder or not? So it is a hydraulic binder. Now this is the chemical composition of cement. Lime is 63%, silica 22%, alumina 6%, iron oxide 3%, and gypsum is 2 to 5%. Remember these percentages. Now what is the function of composition of cement? What is the function of lime? It is nearly 2 by 3 of the cement. Therefore, sufficient quantity of lime must be in the raw materials. So the raw materials you are using for cement making, this your lime should be there. Okay, this is the main ingredient in the raw materials. Your lime should be in sufficient amount for manufacturing of cement. Its proportion has an important effect on the cement. Sufficient quantity of lime forms decalcium silicate and tricalcium silicate in the manufacturing of cement. Lime in excess cause the cement to expand and disintegrate. So it shouldn't be also in large amount. Proper proportion will be sufficient for uh, making the cement. Then silica. The quantity of silica should be enough to form dicalcium silicate and tricalcium silicate in the manufacturing of cement. Silica gives strength to the cement and in excess cause the cement to set slowly. So if the excess silica is present, it will prevent the setting of cement. So it will increase its final setting time of the cement. Next is alumina. It supports to set quickly to the cement. So the initial setting time depend on the alumina content of the cement. It also lowers the clinkering temperature. Alumina in excess reduce the strength of the cement. So if it is in so every material has its disadvantage and every disadvantages is different from one to another. If silica is in excess, it will set the cement slowly. If alumina is in excess, it will reduce the strength of the cement. If lime is in excess, it will be cause it will expand the cement and disintegrate. Now iron oxide, it gives color to the cement. So the color of the cement is the main purpose. The main reason because of the color of the cement is due to iron oxide. And the final stage of manufacturing, gypsum is added to increase the setting of cement. So at the last, calcium sulfate or you can say gypsum is added to increase the setting of cement. Suppose if the setting of cement is less than 300 minutes, say or 600 minutes, so it will lead to destruction of cement. These are the raw material is always available in the form of oxides in nature. The range of percentage of various oxides which are used in cement is given below. So just read it once. Calcium oxide is in 59 to 64. Silica oxide is from 19 to 24. Aluminum oxide is 3 to 6%. Ferric oxide is 1 to 4. Magnesia is 0.5 to 4. Now in manufacturing process there are in mixing and crushing of raw material there is two way, dry process and wet process. Then after mixing what we do, burning then grinding. Now what is dry process? In this process the raw materials are changed to powdered form in the absence of water. So in dry mixing they don't use any water. First they mix all the raw materials. In this process, calcareous materials such as limestone and argillaceous materials such as clay are ground separately to fine powder in the absence of water, and then are mixed together in the desired proportions. So argillaceous and calcareous materials are mixed together, and then water is added to it for getting thick paste, and then its cakes are formed, dried and burnt in cleans. This process is usually used when raw materials are very strong and hard. This I have explained this slide. My mic was in mute or unmute situation. Let me know.
Unmute.
Okay. So I have explained this one, right? Okay. The next is wet process. In this process, the raw materials are changed to powder form in the presence of water. So in this process, raw materials are pulverized by using a ball mill. Pulverize means you mix all the dry materials in powder form with water, and you make a pulp of raw materials, which is a rotary steel cylinder with hardened steel balls. When the mill rotates, the steel balls pulverize the raw materials, which forms slurry. That means liquid. It makes liquid mixture. The slurry is then passed into storage tank where correct proportioning is done. Proper composition of raw materials can be ensured by using wet process then dry process. So proper composition of every materials you can check in wet process. Corrected slurry is then, suppose some amount has in large proportion, you can also correct. So corrected slurry is then fed into rotary kiln for burning. This process is generally used when raw materials are soft because complete mixing is not possible unless water is added. So just remember the difference between dry process and wet process. Now you just tell me, among wet or dry process, which one is economical as per you? What do you think about the which one will be economic? Dry or wet? Among wet process and dry process, which one is economical?
Try process, ma'am, I guess.
Dry process. Okay. What about others? Tell me. Hmm? No one replies. What happened? No, don't want attendance. I won't give attendance. Dry or wet? It's okay. You, if you don't know, just tell me what you feel. Which you have, we have discussed dry process and wet process. So what do you think? Which one will be more economical, dry or wet? Okay. Maybe dry process. Okay, good. At least you guys replied. Good. So see, this is your kind of assignment. Go and check it out. Okay, which one is more economical? Now after mixing, we have next is burning. So the raw slurry in wet process or raw meal in dry process obtained by one of wet or dry process is called charge. So the mixed material you got from the mixing by wet process or dry process is called as charge. Charge is introduced into a rotary kiln The rotary kiln consists of a steel cylinder about 150 meter long and 4 meter diameter and rotates 60 to 30 tons per hour. At one end of the cylinder, a screw conveyor is arranged. I'll try to find a video on this to show you, or you can go to the YouTube, search videos. You'll get ample of videos so that you can understand it clearly. Now is arranged, which slowly allows the charge into the cylinder. So the charge, which you can say the mixed material you used to get from a wet process or dry process, they uh, transferred the charge into a cylinder, which is a rotary kiln, whose dimensions are given, and it turns to per hour it turns 30 to 60 tons. In a 1 hour, it takes 30 to 60 tons. In the other end of the cylinder, a burner is arranged. Coal or burning oil is burnt at this end. So when it rotates, one end has a burner which burns the raw material. The charge entering the cylinder slowly moves towards the hot end. At the burning end of the kiln, the temperature is around 1600 to 1900 degrees centigrade. At this end, some chemical reactions takes place between oxides of calcium, aluminium and silica. Mixture of calcium silicates and calcium eliminates its form. The resultant product consists of grey hard balls called clinker cement. So after burning, you get clinker cement. The percentage of important compound formed in cement is given below. So these are the percentage, which is also known as Boke's compound of cement. These are formed in the clinker. Now grinding. After you get this material, which is clinker cement, clinker cement is cooled, then ground to fine powder. So you get clinker cement is in large stone form. They used to ground to a fine powder and mix with 2 to 5% of gypsum. As we studied, at the end of the cement production, we used some amount of gypsum to control the setting time of cement. Finally, ground cement is stored in storage tanks from where it is drawn for packaging. Hope you have understood till here. So next, hydration of cement. So the chemical reaction that takes place between cement and water is known as hydration of cement. So whenever cement and water whenever they react, heat is released, which is known as hydration of cement. On account of hydration, on account of hydration, certain products are formed. These products are important because they have cementing or adhesive value. Out of all cement compounds, that is also known as Boke's compound of cement, the strength of cement is contributed mainly by silicate. So silicate is an important product in cement. Silicates react with water and produce a gel called calcium silicate hydrate gel, CSH gel. This gel is initially weak and porous, but with the passage of time, it becomes stronger and less porous. So these are the chemical reactions they have shown. Now, if you follow IS 456, page number 19, clause number 8.2.4.2, try to find out the answer of these questions. Is it desirable to put in as much cement as possible in a concrete mix provided cost is not a constraint? What is the minimum cement content to be used in concrete? So you go through clause number 8.2.4.2, page number 19, IS 456, and let me know in the next class. Those who will let me, they will get that as an assignment. Earlier question was, what was the earlier question? What was the first question? Okay, among wet process and dry process, which one is economical? And this is the next question. This is the next question. Okay. Now, in the order of reaction with water, C3 is the first to react with it and impart setting to the cement paste, and C3A is responsible for setting. Strength contribution by C3 is negligible and therefore can very well neglected. Strength of cement is mainly contributed by silicates, which is C3S and C2S. Okay, so remember C3 is responsible for setting For strength purposes, C3S and C2S are the responsible. Now in the category of silicates, C3S is quicker in reacting with water as compared to C2S. Therefore, the initial strength up to 7 days is mainly given by C3S. So after when you do the analysis of you find out the cube strength in 7, 14 and 28 days by casting 3 cubes, right? So the initial set for 7 days is due to C3S. After 7 days, when most of C3S has already exhausted, C2S also start reacting with water. The strength between 7 to 28 days is contributed mainly by C2S, and a part is contributed by C3S. So mainly C2S contribute the strength of concrete cubes in 14 and 28 days. But initially for 7 days, C3S functions mainly for its strength. Now which cement to use? The choice of cement depends upon the nature of work, local environment, and method of construction. So, which cement you should use? In the market, there are various types of use. So, which one to use? Now, the different type of cement has been achieved by different methods like changing oxide composition. So, how the you can describe the types of cement? So, in some cement, there will be some change in oxide composition from this one to this, changing in fineness using additives or mineral mixtures like slag, fly ash or silica fumes. So in cement, we use additive minerals also. Okay. So based on additives, fineness and oxide composition, we have different types of cement. So these are the some types of cement. Go through this. Ordinary Portland cement, rapid hardening cement, extra rapid hardening cement. So these are the different types of cement. Just give me a minute. I'm checking one thing. Okay, we can do one thing. As the time is approaching, we'll end this class here and we'll continue in next class. Okay, write your roll numbers in the chat box, please. And don't leave the class till I marked all of them from participant list. Okay, we'll continue this topic from the next class. Okay, those who wrote their roll number, they can leave. Those who wrote their roll number, they can leave, leave the class. Last roll number is 83. Anyone left to write their roll number? Anyone left? Okay, I'll end this meeting then. Thank you. See you in the next class.